Okay, Happy New Year's.
Happy
I
New
think
Year,
it's
man.
well, we are on the eve of New Year's here,
Oh,
but
yeah?
I don't know when this will go live. Maybe probably with a couple weeks delay, perhaps.
Yeah.
Either way,
Yeah. Yeah.
hopefully it's a nice January.
Yeah. I enjoy not living in the same time as the rest of humanity.
All right. You ever see that movie called? Oh man, I can't remember what it's called. Where like the guy
Groundhog Day?
No, it's a Korean movie. It's fairly new. It might just be called The Phone or something. But this guy, like his wife gets killed. She gets murdered, and then it's like this big thing, and he's trying to get on with his life. And the story picks up a year later, and there's an electric storm, and somehow this electrical storm like messes up his phone and connects it with 1 year in the past.
Hmm.
And like so he's able to make calls to his wife and say like, get out of there, you're gonna get killed tonight, and he manages to save her.
Huh.
And then the story just goes from there. It's like the stupidest, most incredible story ever. Anyway,
No,
I thought of that.
I'm not aware of that movie.
it's the weirdest movie. It sounds like, oh, he saved his wife, this is kind of where the story's gonna go, but then she gets killed again anyway, just in somewhere else. It's just like the weirdest thing, and then he gets blamed for it. So the movie's about him like he changed the past for the worse, and he's trying to like now kind of convert it back into the old past
Yeah.
through his phone or something. I don't know. It's bizarre. Anyway, I digress.
I think Chrono
How are you
Trigger is one of the few time travel entertainment things that I've enjoyed, because it's one of the few that doesn't end with things just being like worse than they were before.
Fair point.
It's like every time travel thing I've ever seen it's like the whole point of it is don't mess with time, you'll screw stuff up.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. That's like their constant theme. I was going to say, ever see Primer? That was a lot of fun, but it really does have the same theme.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did see Primer, and what was it, Looper?
Yeah.
With the digital Bruce Willis.
Awesome. Oh, man.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
I guess I should take that back. One of the best time travel movies I've ever seen was Bill and Ted.
all right. Now you're that's it. Some 80s cool in there. Some Keanu Reeves.
Yeah. They're making a third one.
Ever-
right?
I'll bet they are. Are they coming out with what is it, Triplets yet? The sequel to Twins?
Oh, I don't know.
It's so if you're not familiar with the original Twins starring
Of course I'm rich.
all right, well,
Of course.
Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito. Here we have triplets, with the third member of the trio being, I think it's Eddie Murphy they're adding.
Nice. Apparently...
Yeah, it's cool they're making it, but I wish it had happened, 20 years ago. Anyway, whatever.
Well, apparently Shaquille O'Neal wants... oh no, I can't remember his name. I can't remember his
Arnold?
name. No, there's a Kevin something. A short black comedian who I can't remember his last name. Kevin Hart.
Okay.
Apparently Shaquille O'Neal wants Kevin Hart to do a Twins movie with him.
Awesome. Okay. Well, like Twins remake?
Yeah.
They could come out the same year. Yeah. The reboot and the sequel could come out the same year. They're just
Nice.
speeding up this process.
Yeah. It'll be like when Ghostbusters wanted to have two different movies happening at the same time, and one of them got
That
canned.
happened?
Yeah.
What was the one that got canned? Number 3? Or no, 3 happened? What was that called? Did they call it just Ghostbusters, or did they call it Ghostbusters 3? It was just Ghostbusters,
The
wasn't
new
it?
one, yeah, it was just Ghostbusters.
Yeah. So what got canned?
They were gonna make an all male cast one, and I don't at all remember who was supposed to be in it.
But it was a reboot. It wasn't
I
the
think
same
I think
people.
it was like Channing Tatum or something, or someone was trying to get it going, and yeah, I guess whoever's in charge of the franchise looked at it and said, "Look, we've already got enough invested money into promoting this all female cast one. We're gonna just leave it at that and not do the all male cast one simultaneously."
Yeah, probably for the better. I think.
Probably. But yeah, that's it from my recent movie trivia.
Right. I've been watching a lot of older films lately.
Yeah?
Weird, like 50s movies and 80s movies. Ever see Wages of Fear? Ever heard of it?
I haven't heard of it, no.
What's the remake called? Sorcerer. Have you heard of that?
No.
All right. Well, it's this movie about this oil company that's trying to suppress a fire at one of their plants deep in like the South American jungle or something. And so they hire all these it's like a really remote location, and I forget why exactly, but they need to bring a bunch of nitroglycerin there to like blow up this area to put out the fire.
Yeah.
So they have to transport it there, but it's super dangerous. Like they just have it on these trucks, and they have to drive it through these like bumpy roads in the remote jungle and stuff. So they hire a bunch of just like vagabonds off the street to drive it for them. And then the story is just like those guys trying to bring all this stuff down this like into the jungle without killing themselves, right? And like actually make it to the plant. Pretty fun movie. It's mostly known for like all the kind of real life effects they did. Like they actually had these trucks like backed up on cliff sides and going up mountains and stuff. Obviously they didn't have nitroglycerin actually in the truck, but yeah, I don't know, that kind of thing. Not so much on the. I've never been into like reboots or remakes or adaptions or whatever else. So I mean, modern Hollywood's kind of nothing but, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, have you any interest at all in the new Star Wars movie?
My company, we had a company event, so we all went to see it.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, so I did see it. Did you see it?
No.
Right. Okay.
We're probably gonna wait until it's available on Netflix or something.
Right.
We've only seen 2 movies this year. We
Oh
hired
man.
yeah. We hired a babysitter to go see Deadpool on Valentine's Day.
Nice.
And Andrew's parents came to visit in December, so November, I think. So they looked after our kid while we went to see Moana.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I feel like if I'm gonna pay like $15 for a ticket and another $15 for my wife's ticket, and then we've got to pay like another $30 for a babysitter for 3 hours. It's like, is it really worth $60 to go see this movie when I could just wait a couple months and see it for $5?
I can tell you, in the case of the new Star Wars movie, it's certainly not.
No, I've heard a lot of mixed. I've heard a lot of people really into it, and then I've had like my visual effects friends like arguing with each other on Facebook because there seems to be a lot of controversy over Grand Moff Tarkin.
Tarkin, yeah. I went in super open minded. I'm actually not saying it's bad. I'm just saying it's not like fantastic. It's not $60 good.
Yeah.
It was okay. I'm really tired of going back to the original trilogy and like trying to explain everything and trying to give a backstory and trying to, you know, kind of explain to us why this particular thing happened. Like, who cares, right? I mean, the story is fine as it is. So
that's
was
kind
like
of what I feel.
Yeah.
Like I haven't even bothered to watch a trailer for it. Like, so literally all I know is that they did a digital version of some dead people. And they have Darth Vader in it, and it explains how they got the Death Star plans.
Yep.
And it's like, okay, well, I don't really care how they got the Death Star plans, so...
Well, you know, at least it's one movie. Like, looking at the prequels, it was
trilogy.
like, let's explain why kind of everything came to be and kind of give Darth Vader's backstory. Like, it just wasn't a story that needed to be told, you know? I don't care. And then when they did tell it, it's so full of inconsistencies and like kind of irrelevant stuff, and it's just a poorly told story too. I don't know.
Yeah.
At least, like I said, it's like kind of they said, okay, this is a little side story. Let's have all new characters, do it all in one movie, be done with it, bam, out the door. And I appreciated that at least.
Yeah, it was. I don't know. The prequel did a lot to help make my job as a visual effects artist easier. Because of the technological growth that happened, but it's I definitely will never watch The Phantom Menace again. When I get around to showing my kids when I get around to showing Laz the movie, I'm definitely going to be using the machete order.
You know, there's like a bunch of geeks at work who are crazy into Star Wars, and they go on and on about what order I should watch them in and the machete order and stuff. Honestly, I think I would probably just present the movies in the order they came out, and just, or maybe even just skip all of them except the first three. I don't know.
Have you paid attention? Yeah, I mean that's if you're going to skip any, skip the first three. The
yeah, of
episodes
course.
1, 2, 3. But have you looked at what the machete order is?
Is it not? Let me think. It's using their episode listing ordering. It's 4, 5, 6, 2, 3. Or sorry, 4, 5, 2, 3, 6. Is that correct?
Yeah. So
yeah,
it's
I
like
know.
you get to like preserve the
It works, I know, because you
Yeah.
don't spoil the first two movies. You're not like, well, of course, like, who cares if Darth Vader says, Luke, I'm your father? We already know that, right? Like, all those
Yeah.
big key moments from the first two aren't spoiled. And then since the prequels don't spoil anything from 6, you can kind of just watch it and clear it all out. Yeah, I got it.
Yeah.
I know, but I guess I just hated 2 and 3 so much. I just don't want them. I don't need that unnecessary
Yeah.
kind of side story inserted in between 5 and 6.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll always have fond memories of dressing up and getting in the newspaper for episode 2.
Getting screamed at by your friends
Yeah.
for no, you didn't get screamed at. The newspaper guy got screamed at.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fun times. Was I? No, I think it was you and I forget his name, another person in the picture, but it wasn't any of like our core group. Other
Brad
than you. You were the
Hollingsworth.
key. Yeah. You did have the best costume. I'll tell you that right now.
Which is funny because I like just completely just
Put some towels on the night
put some
before.
towels on the morning of with no forethought whatsoever.
Oh man, I think I had a toy lightsaber somebody handed to me, and I was like posing with it in pictures, but I didn't put a costume on, so
Yeah.
I wasn't too upset that I wasn't in the newspaper.
You know what was funny about that is that was like the only time I ever skipped class. And,
Oh, really?
And I actually asked my parents for permission first.
Awesome. I don't remember skipping class. Were we supposed to be in school at that time?
Yeah, we were. That was at like 2 p.m. or something. So like we all skipped class.
The funny thing to me is that it was so special, and we're watching it on opening day, I guess, and oh man, and whatever. But they had already showed it at midnight the night
Yeah.
before, right?
Yeah.
So it wasn't even like, man, we're at the second showing. This is history, man. Whoa.
Yeah.
But who cares, right? It was. I don't know.
But you know, we're a bunch of high school students. We're not going to go to a midnight screening. Like,
Yeah, man. Whoo, careful.
what parent is going to let us have that curfew?
Grade 12, man.
Yeah.
Ah,
It's not like it's prom.
yeah, really.
I totally didn't go to prom.
I did, but I might as well not have. I'll say that.
Uh,
You didn't go to prom, but you went to Star Wars. You went to
Yeah.
episode 1.
Yeah, I had my priorities straight, man.
I'll tell you another funny story. I saw episode 1 in theaters 4 times.
What is wrong
4
with you?
times. Can you believe that? So I still have that
Speaking of
mark.
time travel,
I still have that mark on my life history. Like, that's the movie I've seen the most times in theaters.
Yeah.
I just remember thinking, like, this is this historic moment. Even if I hate the movie, I just have to see it so many times. And I was like, kind of had a soft competition going with my other friends who had already seen it like 3 times, man. So, I mean, of course, now I look back on all that stuff and it's just, who cares? It's just, like, silly foolishness. But at the time, it was like so important to like be as into Star Wars as my friends or something.
Yeah.
Even though I hated it. I remember walking out of it on the first viewing and just being like, ah, like I wasn't one of those people that took time to sink in for or anything. It was just like straight out. I don't know. I just hated it.
I can't remember if I saw that one in theaters. You know, I wasn't into Star Wars back then at all. So I think I might have seen the first one when it was on TV. And then I went to see the second one because all you guys were so into it.
Was that you're right. Oh, yeah, okay. The first one was 99. And that was, oh, man. See, I hate the movie so much, I don't even remember what happened when I stepped in the theater. I guess that was the second movie we watched, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why I didn't dress up and it was all just whatever, silly to me.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah, I remember. And so a lot of my friends were like, the second one is gonna redeem everything, and
Yeah.
it looks so awesome, and Yoda has a lightsaber now, and this one will make the first one make sense, and everyone had all these like hopes and dreams. I just remember coming out of the second one even and just being like, like
Who is
the
Count
Yoda
Dooku?
fighting. Oh my god,
Yeah.
that was bad.
The
That was
Yoda
bad.
fight was like the only redeeming thing about it, in my opinion. Like,
You thought?
I thought it was pretty epic to watch that, but that was like the only part of the movie I even remember.
You don't remember like C-3PO and R2-D2 suddenly becoming like poorly rendered CGI things and
No.
being like dragged around the desert and stuff, and like all the love scenes with the space gondola and like young
No.
Anakin trying to score with Natalie Portman and all that. Oh man.
I mean, now as you're saying it, I'm remembering it, but I still can't remember it in any sort of context. Like, if someone were to ask me if that was episode 2 or 3, there's no way I could tell you.
See, this is why you like the Machete Order, is because you don't even remember the movie, so you don't. It's not. You don't. It doesn't jive with you just how bad they were. I
Yeah.
think. Like, watch it again. I'm pretty sure you'll be like, yeah, this. You don't need the Machete Order. You just don't need to watch this movie.
Yeah.
It's that bad. It really is.
I have the memory of the Yoda fight. I have the memory of Anakin and Padme on top of some pillar in like a coliseum or something.
That was okay. Yeah. That was
And-
where the whole sequence, R2-D2 and C-3PO were like weird, like obvious CGI
Right.
things being thrown all over the place. Yeah.
And I remember Darth Vader saying "No."
No, that was the next one.
That's like my whole memory of those 3 movies.
Awesome. I sat down one day and I just thought about it. I thought, of course, a lot of people thought this is a new Star Wars movie. It has to be as good as the other ones, blah, blah, blah. So, of course, all the people who hated the movie went in. It's because they felt betrayed or, this isn't Star Wars to me or whatever. So I just thought about it. And I thought really hard, like, what if Star Wars never existed and this was just some movie you just caught on TV one day? What would you honestly think? Or what would I honestly think? And I thought about it and thought about it. And I wouldn't hate it so much. Like, it would have just been some quirky, stupid movie maybe, right?
Yeah.
The kid is annoying, like, whatever else. But it's obviously this high-budget, crazy effects movie. Like, you'd probably be quite impressed. And you'd see all these laser swords and stuff. You'd be like, wow, that was a crazy movie. You'd tell your friends about it. That's how I think about the first one, which is awful, but the second one is awful. Like, I would never watch that movie ever. And a lot of
really?
people think the first one's worse. Oh man, the second one
wait,
is like
sorry. Are you still talking about prequels?
prequels. Yes,
Okay.
yes.
I was confused because my train of thought went with you, but was derailed, and I thought you were talking about episodes 4 and 5 when you're saying first and second.
Yeah, I do. I always said first, second, and last, and new. When they just come out with with episode 1, there was
Yeah.
the first one, the second one, the last one, and the new one. And now it's I mix those terms up.
Yeah.
But yes, the prequels. Don't watch the second one; it's awful.
Yeah. Yeah. So when I said that I wasn't a fan, like I think I watched episode 4 when I was a kid, and I think I watched Spaceballs as a kid. But
Awesome.
I
And you weren't a fan? Come on.
I had never seen Empire or a Jedi until I was
Wow.
in college.
Wow.
So
wow.
I saw episode 4, and then I saw 1, 2, and then I had like my VCR was able to like just pick up stations over the air, like antenna wise. So I was just like watching garbage that my VCR was able to pick up for me when I was in college, and Empire Strikes Back was on TV. But because it was like this scrambled garbage that was coming through the antenna, it was in black
Yeah.
and white.
Brutal.
So my first time seeing it, the image was all crisp, but it was black and white. And I remember thinking it was fantastically done.
Awesome.
Like the lighting and stuff that was done when they were using like miniatures and stop motion and stuff, like that held up really well.
Yeah.
Maybe more so in black and white than in full color.
Very possibly. It does hold up a lot better than the other two movies, I think. Because
Yeah.
Star Wars, like from '77, it just wasn't. It holds up well too, I think. But Empire Strikes Back was fantastically done, definitely. And then Jedi is when they started doing that kind of 80s like ugly. It almost looked like clipped out images. Kind of, I don't know what it was. You wouldn't call it CGI, but like weird effects. There was a lot of that in like the Aliens movies and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know, and it just looked worse to me anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were starting to do green screen type stuff.
Yeah.
At that point. But yeah, so that was kind of my Star Wars thing. So whatever episode 7 or whatever came out last year, and we saw that and it was okay. But I don't know. I feel like having a new Star Wars thing every year is a bit much for me. So
yeah, I kind of don't care anymore. I mean, I was differing from you in that I was like a obsessive Star Wars fan when I was in elementary school, right? Like obsessive. Like I would just watch all 3 movies every single week. So it was like burned into my mind kind of thing, you know? And so like at the time, it's silly to look back at, but like in high school when the prequels were coming out and stuff, it was like, even if I hate this, I have to at least be on top of it so I could maybe complain about it later or whatever. But now, I don't know. But anyway, now that I'm older, I don't know. I'm kind of sick of it, honestly. Like, I like the originals. They're a cool little story. It's fun.
Yeah.
I'd share that with my kids. Now that it's this, like, endless movie serial,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's
an
a cool
endless animated series.
whatever else, yeah. I mean, it's a cool setting, I guess, and, like,
Yeah.
there's, like, the Star Wars role-playing game, whatever else. That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
It's just not really for me. I'll probably see them, at least for the time being. I don't know, like, if I'll still be watching them every single year in, like, 30 years. But,
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. And, like, they're making like a young Han Solo movie, and it's just
Yeah.
I'm so tired of like the backstories. I don't care, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be interested when they conclude episode 9 and we find out that Jar Jar Binks is the one that's been orchestrating everything.
I've seen that Reddit the theories put
Darth
forth.
Jar Jar.
Yes. Yeah. But then see you need to watch the prequels. You need to watch even episode 1 and like all of that to have the full story. So almost solely for that reason, I don't want it to be true.
Yeah, true enough.
Yes.
Did you ever watch any of the animated ones?
No, I'm aware they exist. I'm like this with a lot of things, and I don't know why, but I tend to not be so interested in side stories and stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of the time, for whatever reason, or it takes a lot to get me into those. So especially with Star Wars, like when they were coming out with all those games. Oh, what was it called? Remember on the Nintendo 64, the really popular one?
Yes, I can't remember the name of it.
There was the pod racing game, and there was
the one where you're like a bounty hunter.
Exactly, Tales of the Empire or something. Oh, what was it called, man? I don't remember. But there was that
Time for
game.
the internet to come in handy.
Yes.
Shadow of the Empire?
Shadow, maybe? Wasn't that a book? See, I
Shadow
don't
of the
even
Empire
remember.
N64. So that's the one that I played.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I don't know. It was almost like obnoxious to me for some reason to play it. So
yeah,
the animated series and stuff. I don't know. I was just never really interested. Wasn't there a really new one? Like the Clone Wars is quite new, isn't it?
Yeah, I never got into any of the 3D animated ones. There was a 2D animated one.
Are you talking about like the Ewoks?
No.
Oh man, when I was a kid, like in the 80s, they had an Ewoks cartoon and a Droids cartoon.
Right.
They were awful.
I remember Droids.
But
I don't
watched,
want to remember Droids.
That's funny because I remember Ewoks. Ewoks was the one I watched, and the story they were always trying to find sunstones. I don't know. I forget what the relevance of that was, but like, that was kind of their sacred rock that had energy or whatever. So I used to make up my own games like around the play yard and like in like grade 1 and 2 where you'd have to find the sunstone or like write stories about the sunstone. I literally just like ripped the idea straight out of Ewoks,
right,
of all places. And that's the main thing I remember. I remember the characters. They had like puffy lips and I don't know.
Yeah.
Interesting makeup and stuff.
Well, Lucas is like obsessed with the Clone Wars. So there's like the Clone Wars 3D animated series, and there's the Clone War live action movie, and then, or I guess that was called Attack of the Clones or something stupid. And then there was the Star Wars Clone Wars 2D series as well.
Right.
which was kind of cool. It was done by the same studio that did Samurai Jack.
Okay.
So
Similarly styled.
yeah, stylistically, it's incredibly similar. So it's like kind of anime-esque, where there's like these really quick movements and lots of held cells and stuff.
Right.
So I don't know. I thought that was pretty cool. I liked Samurai Jack.
Hmm.
Which they're making a new Samurai Jack as well.
Cool. I'm not too familiar, honestly. Like I said, I kind of stepped out of like Star Wars side stories and spin-offs and whatever else quite a while ago.
Right.
I did used to really like the Star Wars games. I don't know if you remember, like on the old Nintendo, they had Star Wars and Empire Strikes Back. For some reason, they never got to Return of the Jedi. I don't know what that was about.
I played Empire Strikes Back at your place.
Really?
And I played like the Shot of the Empire one we just talked about, and those are the only two Star Wars games I've ever played.
Oh, wow. Okay, so the original Star Wars was a really cool game, I thought, because it was really chill, kind of. Like, a lot of the later Star Wars games, like, say, the Super Star Wars series, it was, like, matched to the movie. So, this is the level where Luke does this, and this is the level where Han does this, and this is the level where you have to fly through the... it was just like you're playing scenes from the movie, which was cool, too. But the original Star Wars, like, the first half of the game, you were Luke on Tatooine, the desert planet, and you had your land speeder, and you just had this, like, open world to explore, and you had to, like... There was quests, and you kind of had to ultimately complete this story arc. But it was an interesting approach to doing the movie. It's like if they adapted the movie world, and the first half of the game was just you in there doing stuff, kind of. The second half of the game really started to be more linear and stick to the movie. But it was a lot of fun to just kind of be Luke, living his life and kind of day-to-day fighting things and doing stuff. I thought at the time, anyway. And then The Empire Strikes Back on original Nintendo was more... Actually, it was kind of interesting too, because the first set of levels, I guess, was like this giant. You had to explore that was later. The first level, though, you had to explore like this giant cave, and it felt like that was the game. Like, it was an exploration game where you're going through caves, and it was this side scroller, and you had a sword and stuff, and it was a lot of fun. It was just like, if that was the whole game, it would just be this fun little game. But then once you beat that level, suddenly it was kind of the linear, like, okay, this is the next scene in the movie, kind of thing. So it was very different, I guess, than the Super Star Wars series. Like Super Empire Strikes Back, I like the game. It's fucking impossible, but I do like the game. But it was scenes from the movie. Yeah, like here's this scene from scene to scene, and it was fun. But I don't know, the open world thing really went away.
Yeah, I guess it's hard. Like, I don't know. Some people are super, super into Star Wars, so I guess there's been tons of books that you could take any of that material and make something, and I guess the hardcore fans are probably going to be appeased. But I don't know, as someone who's a filthy casual like me, it's it's weird, because like, how do you make a good Star Wars game? Like, if you're not making it relevant to the movie, then you've just got characters like in Shadow of the Empire that, to me, I just have no attachment to whatsoever, and I just don't care about. Like,
right. Well, I think the original NES Star Wars game did a really good job, although it was very limited in scope. I would take that and kind of, I don't know if I'd make like a massive open world game, but I like just kind of living in Star Wars, almost like GTA in Star Wars. You know what I mean? You can do your own thing. I think that would be a really cool approach.
There was Knights of the Old Republic was supposed to be kind of like that.
Right.
It was like an RPG that you could make decisions in.
Oh, cool. Did you play it?
No. Haven't gotten around to it.
Is it on your
I don't even own that one, so that's like in my backlog that I don't even own.
Nice. Yeah. I kind of entertain the idea of playing through all the like X-Wing, TIE Fighter, X-Wing versus TIE Fighter, and then the Jedi Knight games, and all the computer Star Wars games they made, but never got to it. Don't have a lot to say.
Did you ever see? There was a guy, I think it was last year or maybe even earlier. He did like an animated short of like an anime title screen style thing that was inspired by one of the old games.
Say that again. An anime style title
So,
thing
so
that was
clearly you have
inspired
no-
by old Star Wars games. No, to answer your question, but
Really?
your description was kind of okay. Tell me about it.
I'll see if I can at least find it to send you a better description. Anime short. Yeah, if you search TIE Fighter anime short, there's like a 7.5 minute short film that someone did, and it's well done, and it was done by one person, so
Cool. So
it's
he
kind of
animated
insane.
It's like just like a straight animated thing. It's not like a 3D kind of thing. Hand drawn animation.
Hand drawn. So yeah, so it came out 2015.
Cool.
A short Star Wars animation focused on the Empire, drawn and shaded in the style of classic 80s anime. Empire and Rebel forces
Yeah.
engage in the frantic all-or-nothing dogfight in space, but the Empire has 3 TIE fighter aces up its sleeve. So there was an animator or director named Paul Johnson who worked on it, and yeah, it's pretty cool. I'd suggest giving at least half of it a watch. If
7 minutes. I'm sure I can handle all of it. Don't worry.
yeah,
Yeah,
so
cool.
it was pretty well done, and apparently was really inspired by one of the old TIE Fighter games, or X-wing games.
Sweet. Cool.
So, it's for me as someone who's done animation, it's mind blowing seeing that one person has done this.
Yeah.
And they made their life considerably easier. Like they did 3D models of the TIE fighters. So it's like a clash between hand drawn and 3D stuff. But
A
they
clash
did
is it kind of like
it. No, like,
I don't know what you call
hand
it.
drawn.
So they actually drew every frame, or is it kind of like that cell shaded stuff?
Yeah, it's hand drawn. I'm 90% sure it's hand drawn stuff.
Cool.
TIE Fighter anime short. Paul Johnson. Oh yeah, of course my typing is off by one key. That fun thing where you start typing and you're fast typing, so you type like the whole sentence, but then you realize your hand wasn't in the right spot.
That's better than that thing where you're typing on your phone and you miss the first letter or the second letter, and it's like,
Yeah. Yeah, I can't find enough information on it in quick search to tell you exactly how it was done. But I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
it was hand drawn and not just like Flash.
cool, very cool.
But it looks
I
cool.
will
Like
check it out.
it's very anime styled.
Cool. I will
Yeah,
definitely
inspired
check
by TIE Fighter for Windows and DOS.
it out. Sweet. Awesome, man. Question for you: have you ever played any Star Wars board games?
I can't remember if I played Star Wars Monopoly.
Don't. It's bad.
I
I mean, it's Monopoly, but
So the thing is that my parents were really weird, and they had this running joke where they would get me Monopoly every Christmas.
okay.
so
Hilarious joke.
So I didn't like Monopoly, so I think I played maybe 2 of the versions they gave me.
Nice.
so
you
I-
have Star Wars Monopoly.
I had it. I might have thrown it out, but I can't remember if I ever actually played it.
Okay. Well, well, what I wanted to say is when I was a kid, I had I forget the exact name, but I think it was called Star Wars, maybe Lightsaber Duel or something. But
Yeah.
it was a game that was released in, I think, like 83 or 84 maybe. Like it was really old. I don't know where I got it. I think I picked it up used at a book sale or something. But anyway, I used to play it all the time with my friends at the time, and it was really cool because basically each person got a book. So one person was Luke and one person was Darth Vader, and each person got a book and a list of moves they could do. So it would be like do a thrust or swing your lightsaber low or attack high or use the force or whatever. And you had however many hit points, and you would pick a maneuver each turn, and the other person would pick a maneuver.
Yeah.
And depending, you would like reveal it at the same time, and then depending on the combination, it would give you a page number to flip to. So you'd flip to that page, and you'd see, like, if I was Luke, my book would be full of pictures of Darth Vader, because that's my vision. Like, I as Luke am watching Darth Vader, and I can see my lightsaber hit him, or I can see him like block me or hit me back.
Right.
It was a really cool game, actually. It was fun. I think the game itself was fairly simple. I mean, you could have just made like a game called Sword Fighting, and it would have been the same thing. But of course, it was themed to Star Wars, so that was all I needed to go crazy with. But it was cool too because you could like use the Force. So there was like, you know, Darth Vader could hurl objects or like choke or something, and Luke had a few. His powers were less, but yeah, it was fun.
He could lift things out of swamps.
Something like that. I forget what he could even do, actually. High jump as a defensive maneuver or something. It was kind of patterned off the movies. So.
Right.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. Well, we didn't even approach any of the topics we intended to.
That's okay, isn't it?
Yep. But I'd say we got to call it a wrap for this episode.
All right then. Well, woohoo, Star Wars. Wait, so 2017, one last thing. What's the Star Wars movie that's coming out this year? Is it Episode 8 or is it Young Han Solo, or is it both, for God's sake?
I imagine it's Episode 8, and they'll do Young Han Solo next year.
So it goes main series,
Young
spin-off,
Han
main series,
Solo.
spin-off?
Yeah, 2018 for Young Han Solo.
Right. Okay, so this is the Episode 8 year. It's funny they've even sped that up. Like, they don't wait the 3 years anymore.
Yeah. Well,
Just have to keep churning them out.
Yeah. That's what happens when you're owned by Disney. You gotta get that sequel machine going.
Yeah, make your billions back, right?
Yeah, I was kind of disappointed with that with Pixar, because like that was a company that was always like, no way, we're only gonna make movies because we're passionate about it. We're never gonna just be a sequel factory, and they've totally turned into a sequel factory.
And Toy Story 4. Woo.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, look at Star Wars. I mean, this is a bunch of cliche bullshit, maybe, but like everyone likes to talk about how the original Star Wars, it was like Lucas's vision, and you know, it was this guy going against the film industry to build his vision, and he got blacklisted, but he made it happen, and blah blah blah. And now, enormous company owns it, and everything is decided by committee, and they just churn them out. It's like it's gone from that piece of art to that piece of like commercial, whatever bullshit. I mean, I think they do a good job so far, anyway.
Yeah.
Relatively, so whatever. But
you know, I think it's doing better now than it did when it was George Lucas's vision.
Yeah, in that original creator's hands. Yeah, I know.
It was his concept, and he obviously did lots of work, but he had a lot of restrictions and help with those first three trilogy. And then
which
when
was
he
for
had
the
free
better.
reign over everything,
Wasn't Episode 1 like his first, the first movie he directed since Star Wars or something, or since like maybe it was some other movie? Like it was the first in like 20 years or some ridiculously long amount of time. So I don't know.
I'm looking it up right now. George Lucas filmography. So he did.
Narrow it to work as director.
So Star Wars Episode 1 was the first movie he had directed since Star Wars in 1977,
Yeah. So I think a lot of people like to point to that and say, see, you're not a good director, you haven't been directing movies, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. But I have no idea, but it does kind of make one wonder.
And he hasn't directed a movie since Revenge of the Sith.
Got it. Possibly for the better.
I remember him being upset because he had like produced a film or something, and it didn't. Red Tails.
Yeah, it was like about pilots, wartime Air Force pilots or something.
Yeah, I guess he was writer on that. So I guess that didn't get received too well, and he was like upset and said that he was retiring. But I guess he actually did some work on another movie called Strange Magic that came out 2015.
No idea. I remember when he actually sold Star Wars, and he said it really hurt, and it felt like he was selling his children into white slavery.
Yeah.
I don't know if you caught that one.
Yeah. Clearly a grip on reality. Uh, uh,
Yeah.
have you ever seen The People versus George Lucas?
I've heard of it. I've wanted to, but I have not.
It's on. If you've got Netflix, it used to be on there. I don't know if it still is.
Huh.
But
Worth watching?
Yeah, I enjoyed that. It's got
Checking it out now.
a 6.7 out of 10 on IMDb. But
Wow,
I thought it was
that means
worth watching.
Cool. All right. Notes taken.
Awesome. All right, well, let's stop talking about Star Wars.
Yeah, I'm always down for stopping talk of Star Wars.
Okay. Yeah, so I guess I'll talk to you again soon.
Yes, indeed. All right, sir. Well, cheers and happy gaming.
Later.